Thanks for tuning in to Retiring Well. We have a great show lined up for you. First, talking about procrastinating in your retirement. That's something you definitely don't want to be doing, so let us help you understand some tips to get started early. Along with that, lifestyle inflation. Inflation is so rampant out there, and you want to be preparing yourself for a long retirement. Along with that, teacher talk. So Jack, as a former teacher, is going to be talking through some ideas and things to be thinking about when it comes to retirement planning. And lastly, 10 essential tech tools for older adults. So if you're maybe not as tech savvy, I know I'm not, you want to be tuning into that to maybe learn some of these different tools that could help you plan to retire well. So all of this and a whole lot more coming up right here, right now on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well. Plan to retire well.
Welcome to Coffee Talk here on Retiring Well. I'm Mark Canfield, joined with John Torbet today, senior partners here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. We're happy you're tuning into us here this week on Retiring Well, learning about retirement planning and all the benefits that could have for you so you can plan to retire well.
Yeah, I think when we talk about retirement planning, so often it sort of seems that people are procrastinating when it comes to this topic, and it's their financial lives and it's their future. But too often we hear from folks that have either been watching the Retiring Well television show for years. They sort of say, why didn't I call you guys sooner and come in and have a conversation? We're a pretty laid-back approach. We're just here to sort of in the Traverse City office or Petoskey, Gaylord, Cadillac, whatever it might be. We're open to just having a cup of coffee and just having a conversation about what does your retirement look like? What are some of your goals? And ultimately see then, are there things you could be doing now in preparation to help you have a successful retirement?
That's a great point, John. You know, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from planning for your financial future? You know, we here at Centennial Wealth Advisory offer no cost, no obligation, just financial review. Sit down, like John said, let's talk through this and see what that looks like for you. You know, too often we just see people putting this off and putting this off and putting this off. You know, there's a crazy statistic out there. I love numbers out there. For years we've talked about it on the show that people spend more time planning their next vacation than they do their retirement. You know, that's kind of scary. But here's one that's even more alarming, John, and I know this because I know you love social media here. But there's a statistic out there right now. Studies have been done. The average American right now spends around 2.5 hours a day on social media. You know, that's darn near a full day that I'm awake per week. That's wild to me that that's happening out there. And I'm sure some of you are probably nodding your head, yeah, I can see that, or oh, my kid's done that, or this or that. But that's right now what they're saying. Here's the kicker, though. The average American spends 1.8 minutes a day planning their financial future.
This is painful for me to hear, Art, because obviously as a lot of the people in the office give me a hard time, I'm not on social media. I don't spend my time, what is it, 2.5 hours a day or whatever on average that people spend on social media. You won't find me doing that. I will be spending more than 2 minutes a day on financial. I can guarantee that, but that is very alarming and very concerning. Now, I know you had a client recently come into the Traverse City office that didn't really have a choice about planning for retirement. Ultimately, got to that point where the business said, hey, we're done, right?
Absolutely. And I think, and this is what's scary, sometimes it doesn't feel like procrastination, but it really was in this person's case. They had been working, putting money in, had a great employer, and they planned on working several more years, but they were in their very early 60s, and basically, all of a sudden, employer says, you're done. You know, we don't need you anymore. Your position's been eliminated. Thanks for the 30 years of service. Here's a couple weeks severance. Best of luck to you. And he's at that point hasn't planned at all. Now, thankfully, had been putting money in a 401k and all that sort of stuff, but really had no idea where to go next.
Yeah, I mean, that's where if you're planning ahead and everything, you're thinking through. It's not just putting money into a 401k, simple IRA, whatever it might be. So often people come in and they're like, well, I've planned, and then they've flopped down these statements in front of us that might have whatever dollar amount that they've saved, and really that aspect doesn't matter so much to us. It's more about, okay, what do your expenses look like in retirement? What are those income sources? There's so much more that goes into retirement planning versus just a number on the slip of paper of what you've saved for retirement. You have to be considering, like we talk about a lot on the show, the health insurance factor. What does that cost look like? I think Art's referenced before that you could be spending over $300,000 in retirement on health insurance. So what is your plan for that? Do you have enough money saved? And ultimately, what is your plan?
Absolutely. So I challenge you today as you're sitting there watching the show, whether this is your first time tuning in or you watch several shows, what's stopping you from taking that step of planning for your retirement? Whether you think you're 10 years away, 5 years away, or closer than that, let's take the actions today and at least sit down with us and talk through what that looks like. Wouldn't it feel better knowing that you have either some goals to work towards, or maybe you're in much better shape than you think you are, but at least you have a plan to work towards for those last few years that maybe you wish to punch in at work, and all that so you can plan to retire well.
In our ongoing effort to provide quality financial education, we are now offering a free downloadable white paper titled Tax Strategies for Retirement. Learn about tax reduction strategies that can help you reduce your liability and increase your cash flow. Simply go to cen-wealth.com, scroll down and click the link Tax Strategies for Retirement to receive your free copy of our valuable and informative white paper, Tax Strategies for Retirement.
Inflation sure has been a hot topic lately, hasn't it? I mean, you can't hardly go to a grocery store, or really any store for that matter, and not see the general price increase of a lot of goods and services out there. And we're feeling that, right? We feel that in our pocketbooks, whether we're retired or not. I want to talk about a term that kind of has been around for a while, but it seems like it's being heard about more with this inflation. And it's something called lifestyle inflation, and also it's been referred to as lifestyle creep. And they're really kind of two different things, but they do kind of go hand in hand together. And what is this? Well, lifestyle inflation basically is the idea is as your lifestyle that you're living is getting more expensive or bigger, then that inflation is going to impact that more. So how does this happen? It happens from lifestyle creep. So lifestyle creep is something as your income grows, your disposable income typically grows. And you start spending that disposable income versus saving it. So think of upgrading to bigger homes, maybe a second home, taking bigger, longer vacations more often, maybe more of expensive vehicles. Think of things that aren't necessary purchases, but a little bit more, I guess, luxury type items. So that begins this lifestyle creep, where your lifestyle you're living is creeping up more expensively. Well, with inflation happening, the areas it's hitting are almost everywhere, right? Whether you're buying groceries or vehicles or something like that. But think of it, if you're spending more money because of this lifestyle that you're living, you're likely going to feel inflation more because you have more things that are being inflated, right? So where can this impact you as we think of retirement planning? So oftentimes, as we near towards retirement, those bigger expenses that we've had over our lives are starting to go down or go away. Think of our home hopefully is paid off, or we don't have a mortgage. Child-related costs hopefully are gone away. We've maybe helped them get through school, they're out of the house, stuff like that now. And so we're hopefully now at our peak earning years, which then usually translate into maybe some peak savings years, that some of these expenses are no longer present or reduced. But if we have this lifestyle creep going on, guess what? Oftentimes our expenses haven't gone down, even though the children have left the house. Probably we still have a mortgage because we've upgraded so much because we're living this higher lifestyle. So now as retirement's approaching, maybe we're not saving enough, or maybe even if we are, the lifestyle we've come to enjoy could be at a certain level. It's going to be hard to maintain, or have to have such a significant dollar balance in a retirement savings account to maintain. It could become problematic. So we have to be careful with this lifestyle creep. It sure sounds enjoyable, right? Taking bigger vacations, longer vacations, all that sort of stuff. But we have to be careful as we near retirement how this could impact us. Very uncommonly do we come across someone that says, yeah, I wish to live a much less lifestyle in retirement than I did during my working years. Nobody wants to go from taking vacations and doing all this sort of stuff to all of a sudden not doing anything, right? So again, we have to adjust this. So from a retirement planning perspective, as we've talked about over the years, this just doesn't start all of a sudden when you get very near in retirement. This happens a long time before that. So be cognizant of what your lifestyle is, what your expenditures are, and also what that retirement roadmap looks like. I enjoy when I can sit down with somebody that's 20, 30 years old and we can start working on that roadmap and having that direction and those savings goals laid out. It helps kind of remind you what you're looking for versus you get that raise or you get that promotion and you have this bigger paycheck and all of a sudden it's easy to start spending that. So again, if you don't have a retirement plan or you're unsure of what that may look like, give us a call here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. We'd love to sit down with you, whether it's in our Traverse City office location, Cadillac, Gaylord, or Petoskey, and talk through the various options and look at your retirement plan so we can customize one for you so you can plan to retire well.
Dave Pfister here with Jim Sanborn, Veterans in Crisis. We're part of the all-volunteer board of directors, and we have just finished another incredible outing here at Lock and Heath Golf Club in September 2024. We seem to get lucky every year, not just with the weather, but with the tremendous support we get from the community. Folks like Centennial Wealth have been long-time supporters.
Centennial Wealth has been a supporter since the start of this event. They do a great job. The Lock and Heath members have been very supportive of what we do. We raise a lot of money for needy veterans in northern Michigan.
We're just so proud to have the support that we have, and we thank you so very much. We're blessed. Thank you.
We're excited to be out here supporting veterans in crisis. This is for several years now. Centennial Wealth Advisory has been a proud sponsor. One of the things that we feel great about supporting veterans in crisis is the money stays in the northern Michigan community, just like our folks watching the Retiring Well television show. We want to be part of the northern Michigan community, and so proud of the men and women that have served our country, and we want to be able to give back to them. And this is a great opportunity with the Veterans in Crisis golf event year in and year out.
Hey, Jack Lunder here with Centennial Wealth Advisory. We are just enjoying a beautiful day in northern Michigan, supporting an awesome cause, Veterans in Crisis. And one of the beautiful things is that, we get to just take a moment to pause, and we have the beautiful sunshine, the beautiful views of this golf course where we just spend a day and reflecting for everything that our veterans have done for us, for the men and the women that served so brilliantly and bravely so that we can enjoy these kind of freedoms. We're forever thankful for that. So we love being able to support Veterans in Crisis because they serve specifically northern Michigan men and women that have served our country. And so we appreciate that so much, and enjoy this day and reflect.
Hey,
Hey, welcome to this unique segment on Teacher Talk. Just like that, the good old tripod there, okay? No, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about, some of our favorite type of learners. We've had a long history of teaching and coaching, and so with me today, a special guest, longtime friend, colleague, Gary Vanna from McBain High School. He is fluent in 2 languages. He is a awesome announcer for a lot of the athletics. He runs the Rambler Review, which is a program that helps give announcements and stories about what's going on in McBain. He is the longtime director of the athletic department. A big fan, called him Agent Theta because he knows all the angles. So with that being said, Gary, we're just going to talk about some of our favorite type of learners. Maybe a story about, some that come to mind quickly of your career in teaching and the type of learners that you got to teach and what that meant to you.
Well, thank you for having me on the show, Jack. Once again, Gary Vanna, been in McBain for 30 years, believe it or not. I know I only look like I'm 29, but yeah, it's been there for 30 years. As we're talking about learners, through the time, I've kind of broke my learners down to 2 groups. There's the group that just uses the teacher. They're looking at going through the hoops, jumping to the end to get some type of set model to make quiet at home, mom and dad happy, and they'll do whatever means just to jump through the hoops. And then there's the other ones that are actually coming to abstract the information, processing it, and really having good discussions about it. We have some students that started off as hoop jumpers, but as they grew in their maturity, they actually started wanting to give feedback, discuss, and they become valued colleagues. And so I guess the best learners I've ever had are not only the ones that I can interact with, but I can glean information from them too and just have interest in what they're doing.
I love it. That's a really good point because I think I'm similar too, where I forget my students' names, but I never forget their learning heart. And I put them in a group where they were either playing the game of school, right, kind of jumping through the hoops because they had to keep things at bay, but they didn't really care about the learning. And then I have a group that no matter what obstacle was put in their way, they had a learning heart that they fostered and that they fought for. I think learning is like a multi-lane highway, and there's a destination that maybe you're trying to go to, or more importantly, maybe a journey you're trying to go on to. And I think in my career teaching, we're teaching now. We teach, personal finance. We both share that, for a long time. One of the things in that learning journey that I would, one of my favorite students, that had a journey is she had the grit and the determination to learn no matter what obstacle was put in her way. It could have been, a snowstorm, a foot of snow blowing, the winter roads out here, it's dangerous, but she just had a grit and determination that she just would not quit. I remember specifically she was taking an Algebra 2 test, and it was very quiet, and I could see that she was getting a little bit frustrated, and she was working through those frustrations. And she got to that point where she just slammed her pencil down, and she's like, I can't do this, and she runs out the room. And, everybody looked back at me like, how are you going to react to that? And I said, you know what? I know her story. I know all the things that were put up in front of her that she was fighting through. I want to go celebrate her and her grit to never quit. And so she came back in, she finished. And as I've watched her go through life, it's amazing that her learning heart hasn't stopped. And all the obstacles that she's faced, she's overcome because of her learning heart. So one of my favorite students. What about you, Gary? What do you have for maybe a memorable moment, good or bad?
Oh, well, they're all good. There's not many bad students. But one of my favorite stories just happened 2 years ago. And I had a student hardly ever made it to school, didn't know if they were going to graduate or not. And they were jumping through the hoops because the state says you have to take this math class, you have to take this English class. And none of this stuff really interested them. And then we started doing this project where they had to do some investing. And we're getting ready for that for the semester final. And in the investing, they had to come up with a way that they would invest in themselves. And all of a sudden, the student found her passion. She wanted to run a dog daycare. Went beyond the research to do a dog daycare. She figured out the cost it was going to be, what the average people in the area use. She actually looked and see how many are in a region, looked up the research. She dove so deep into it that she found what her passion was. And then she wanted to learn about that. And that's sometimes what school doesn't let some kids do, is we don't expand enough to let them find their passion all the time, to dive in deep into it.
Well, and you've seen it. You see people that have found their mission in life and the learning that is involved in that. And when that lights, it is a powerful thing to watch and to be a part of. So we hope you sitting at home are encouraged by some of the grit and the determination to find your own learning journey. And if there's ever anything that we can do to help you, as you understand the bigger picture of what you're trying to accomplish, you can always reach out. Gary, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you. Good night, boys.
In our ongoing effort to provide quality financial education, we are now offering a free downloadable white paper titled Tax Strategies for Retirement. Learn about tax reduction strategies that can help you reduce your liability and increase your cash flow. Simply go to cen-wealth.com, scroll down and click the link Tax Strategies for Retirement to receive your free copy of our valuable and informative white paper, Tax Strategies for Retirement.
What I want to share with you today is the connection between financial wellness and physical and emotional health. And I want to draw that to you through a few statistics, and then I'm going to talk to you about solutions. So I don't want to just list the problem, but I also share with you possible solutions for you. So this is from a Market Watch guide survey of 2,000 Americans. So I'll read some of this really quick, and then like I said, I'll talk to you about possible options for you to have peace of mind through this. So 65% say finances are their biggest source of stress. Number 2, 41% agreed that my finances have destroyed my mental health. That's a pretty big statement. Number 3, 57% said they must choose between prioritizing their finances or their mental health. 4, 92% reported negative physical effects due to their financial stress. Number 5, 56% reported losing sleep because of financial stress. Number 6, 45% reported headaches due to financial stress. And number 7, 38% complained of fluctuations in weight because of the financial stress. So as you can see from these survey results, there's a lot of worry and stress out there, and it's connected not only to their physical but their mental health due to their finances. This is something that a lot of people are worried about and having to deal with, and you might be one of them as well. However, here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we've helped thousands of clients and people all over northern Michigan work through these stresses. Our goal is to move you from a point of fear and stress to a point of peace of mind. And we have the tools and the ability to provide you with the solutions that can help you do that. So we'd be more than happy to meet with you. And throughout this series, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what are the issues as far as impacting me that are causing me to not be financially well. We're going to have some fun with that and correlate that to your physical and emotional health. But the key thing is we want to move you from a place of fear and concern and worry to a place of peace of mind. In today's segment, we're going to look at 10 technology tools and how they can benefit seniors. The 10 technology tools are smartphones, tablets and e-readers, video call apps, fitness trackers and smartwatches, medication management systems, GPS insoles, transportation apps, home assistive devices, online investment and estate planning tools, and brain training apps and games. Smartphones. According to Pew Research Center, 79% of adults 65 and older have a smartphone. Smartphones are great for communication, but they also provide many additional benefits. Additional benefits include health monitoring, entertainment, and even personal safety. Smartphones can also be used to order products and services, as well as travel assistance with directions through GPS and through other transportation apps. And many seniors are trading in their computers for tablets. The tablets provide a larger screen for making video calls, using email, and for reading. The tablets are more mobile and can be easier to use than many desktop computers. Seniors are taking advantage of video call apps and all the benefits and video call apps provide. Video call apps allow you to catch up with loved ones and make the connection more intimate than a simple phone call with the addition of the video. Video call apps also make it easier to have online appointments with whether it's financial advisors, health consultants, and other service providers. Wearable fitness monitors allow seniors to track and monitor activity, including exercise and sleep. And the more informed you are about your own health and well-being, the easier it is to make better decisions and changes for your overall health. Medication management systems are something that's really helped a lot of people monitor not only their medication but other appointments as well. You know, medication tools that take advantage of the advancements in technology, they've made it easier to track your medication times and doses. In addition to providing reminders for medication, some tools also allow seniors to track vital signs such as blood pressure and glucose levels, and they have the ability to share this data real time with healthcare providers. Medication errors are a leading cause of hospitalizations for seniors, and the tools available to monitor these medications can help reduce those errors. GPS insoles, I found this one really interesting. So they have GPS insoles, and this product is there to help track people with dementia. So these insoles are placed in their shoes, and you can track where that person is at through your online GPS tracker. You can even set a perimeter for them and receive a notification if that person leaves that designated area. Of course, we've all heard, I'm sure, about the transportation apps available like Uber or Lyft, and this can really help with allowing seniors to travel independently without having to rely on family or public transportation. You can even schedule rides to appointments or weekly activities in advance. You know, home assistive devices, so smart home systems provide many benefits for seniors. The benefits include systems that can detect falls, monitor air quality, control lighting, and appliances even through voice commands. Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant can provide reminders to play music. You can even use it to control smart home devices, all through simple voice commands. There's online investment and estate planning tools. You know, tracking your investments has become much easier with all the online tools available to manage your accounts. You can log in and see your investment account balances real time, as well as make changes to your bank accounts. Online estate planning tools exist to help you with wills, trusts, and other legal documents. And there's even digital vaults that are available to ensure important files are easily accessible. Brain training apps and games. You know, it's important to keep your mind sharp at any age. But it's especially important as we all age. Many apps exist to help stimulate different areas of the brain, promoting mental agility. A few of these apps include Lumosity, Elevate, and Peak, and there's many others available as well. You know, these 10 technology tools we've discussed today can add value to your life as you age, but there's other technologies that exist in addition to these 10 as well. If you're watching our show for the first time, or if you've been watching it for years, and we'd love to connect with you, please feel free to call our office to schedule a no-cost and no-obligation meeting. A meeting would be about an hour in length, and we would love to be able to meet with you so that we can help you plan to retire well.